Welcome back to the channel, guys. We have another video today for you, and this time it's a little bit more special and higher stakes. So as of many of you probably know who are involved in the Le Mans Ultimate community, there is the Logitech G challenge that is going on, where everyone tries to post the fastest lap time that they possibly can in a race, and the top drivers get to qualify for prize money anyways. We have a little special guest here, by the way. This is our kitty cat, Bane. You can't face him, or he's not facing the camera at the moment, so you can't really see his eyes, but he is 1 year old, and he is the sweetest boy. He is very lovey, mischievous. Don't let him fool you, but very lovey, loves affection. So we're letting him sit in the lap today and love on Daddy for a little bit. Having said that, oh, there he goes, and he's gone. He's done. But with the Logitech G challenge, if you do qualify and it looks like you get put into a race, and there's multiple rounds that are going to be coming up in the near future, but there's $35K in prize money. Now, having said that, getting in the top lap times is not an easy feat at all. It is quite a challenge, and I'm sure people that have way more time than I do are able to practice and really get the little nuances of the track and driving the Mclaren 720S. So we're gonna take a shot at it though. Just see how well we can do, and there will be multiple races, multiple moments. So I hope you enjoy this video. This is a very special one, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and let's get right into the action. Alrighty guys, welcome to the video. So we're gonna get right into our first race. So again, the object is to get the fastest lap time that is possible within a race. Your qualifying lap does not count towards the leaderboard, so you have to post it within a race. Now obviously that presents a challenge because you have to battle other people in the grid, and also
no way.
in a 20-minute span, your tires only have optimal grip levels for so long.
Alrighty.
So you're going to be able to set your best lap times in like your first 3 to 4 laps.
They'll be competing and fighting.
Unless your lap times are just so bad and you're not very good at racing the track that you're able to make up for just your overall technique when you're going through the course. So this is the first race. I couldn't tell you how many recordings I did for this challenge. In fact, I had done so many that I ran out of space on my SSD, and I couldn't film anymore. And the goal here was just to give myself a benchmark and see what I could do. And so we move ahead here forward, and as you can see, we're in P1, and we're building a gap relative to the rest of the pack. This wasn't the highest split compared to races later on in the video and some of the other races that I've recorded in the past. But nonetheless, it's a solid start, and it always feels good to be in P1. So with that being said, we had a big gap between the rest of the grid. Not too much pressure, so we're just going to focus on trying to set the best lap times that we can. So as you can see here, we posted a 2:21.214. Now,
slowly gaining
the best of the world, looking at their lap times, they were posting like in the 2:18s, like 2:18.6, 2:18.5.
You could get there.
Insane lap times. Realistically, I mean, obviously, I would love to get to that point, but I wasn't expecting myself to get there. My goal was, I think, a realistic benchmark was for me to get in the 2:20s, like 2:20.5, and then something that would really been happy to see was getting in the 2:19s.
Short shift in the third there. You actually get
for
a little
first
bit more
race,
speed.
We're at a pretty solid starting point. Spa is tricky if you want to do really fast lap times, because there's a lot of these corners where there's like double apexes.
Didn't really take that corner
and
the best,
some of these
that's
slower, I wouldn't say slower corners, but they're like medium speed corners where it's actually ideal to not apply too much brake pressure, otherwise you're going to have problems rotating the car. But just enough brake pressure where you're slowing the car down, but it actually helps you rotate. So that was quite a learning process, trying to master SPA in this car. And I haven't driven the McLaren 720S too many times in this game, but I was really growing fond of the car. It has really good rotation on corner entry, and it's pretty good on corner exit as well. The only really downfall is just the straight line speed of this car. I mean, that's really its only pitfall, but luckily everyone's competing in the same car, so it's just purely driver skill. Who has the better throttle control, who has the better racecraft, and just who's the better driver. That's it, just period.
I turned my fan on, guys. Hopefully it's not causing a lot of noise in the mic, but we'll see.
So we're pretty consistent lap times at this point.
Should be good.
Low 221s, that seemed to be the theme. And unfortunately, we're getting to the point where the tires are going to be losing a little bit of their performance at this point. So now I'm not taking my lines ideally, and I'm not braking as best as I do eventually down the road, but we were getting there. I mean, this was kind of a boring race here, but I just wanted to find my racecraft, find my pace, set a benchmark, and figure out where I can make a difference. And I started off
short shift into third
with more of a frontward brake bias in these first couple races. But eventually I found that it was actually faster to change the brake bias towards the rears. And I was slowly lowering the traction control here and there to help me rotate the car in some of these corners. Because in the end, I was finding that some of these faster drivers, they were just able to pitch it in ways that I was not able to do, just because of the limitations of having too much traction control.
You know, I'm really growing to like this McLaren and the way it drives. I mean, man, once you get the setup right, it is just so nice. Yep, went wide. But you get the brake bias right and you can just pitch it in. Really nice trail braking. Pretty good on corner entry. I guess the biggest downside is the straight line speed is not very good in this car.
So, as you can see, our lap times are hanging in the low 221s.
I guess you make up for that with
realistically, our lap times are not going to improve.
Good corner,
but I was getting a little bit comfortable with the car and the track. But as you can see, I go through Eau Rouge. I hit the curb way too hard. Took way too much curb.
Way too soon.
As you can see, our front right suspension got obliterated. And our race was done, so we ultimately just hop into another one. Now we're starting in P1 again, which is great, but the one thing that sucks about qualifying in P1 is you start on the inside at turn 1, which kind of sucks. It's not ideal. But anyways, we're going side by side by Cruz, and we have contact with him into turn 1. Harmless race contact, nothing malicious there. But we're going into Eau Rouge side by side. This is really ballsy, and we're both gambling. But I decided to brake a little, and Cruz decides
that should be an illegal pass, brother.
Invalidate the lap and go into P1. Now, see, this is a game, so he's just going to rack up.
That should be a big penalty right there.
But I think in real life racing, he would have to give up that position and or suffer a penalty. But you know, this is a video game ultimately, and the penalty system is not perfect.
But we're settling right in behind Cruz,
All right.
and once again, the name of the game, other than trying to place as high as we can, as always, but set the fastest lap time in a race that we can. I wasn't. Oh, dangerous time to sneeze, right in the middle of a corner. So we're getting a little bit, or a lot further into the race, and Cruz and I are, without a doubt, a lot faster than the rest of the pack, but Cruz is really finding his pace late in the game, or able to maintain pace, whereas I was just unable to keep up. As you can see, my best lap time in this race, it did not improve. It was basically a 10th higher than in the last race, despite me wrecking. But you know, at this point, like I said, our tires are not fresh. Even though our fuel levels are a lot lower, it's way more important to have grippier tires, fresh tires. There's something just amazing. Those first like 2-3 laps with a fresh set of tires, you just have that magic grip. I can't even explain it, but just you can pitch it into a corner a lot faster than you can once you get, 5-10 laps down, and you'll just slowly see that your best lap times start going down by like a 10th here, a 10th there, and especially when you get into endurance racing and you're on a set of tires like an hour down the road. I mean, the lap times you are setting are just not anywhere close to when you started the race, but It's not posting good laps,
endurance racing
man.
is a much different strategy.
So at this point, we just wanted to finish the race. We just wanted to get a podium here, get the increase in driver rating and safety rating, and just have that be that and move on to the next race and see if we can make something happen. So going on to the end of the last lap here, we are going to end up finishing in P2. Cruz just gets 5 seconds ahead of us. We just weren't going to catch him. We just weren't maintaining good pace. But nonetheless, we'll take P2. We'll always be happy with that outcome. Alrighty, the next race. Now, this was another day, and as you can see, I had gotten my racing gloves at this point. But we did not qualify as high. We qualified top 10, but we're going to have to battle through the pack, and that's going to make it a lot more challenging to get ahead and get better lap times. So we're getting in the draft here, going to Eau Rouge with traffic, so this is going to be a big challenge. So I back off just a little bit, just so I could get more speed coming out of Eau Rouge in the hopes that I could overtake these two guys coming into the corner. Peruzzi and Leandro. So we're going up to the side here, we're getting more speed, and then Peruzzi decides to come to the left, and then he decides to just run us off. I get suspension damage. I was mad. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I really just wanted to take him out. So I slammed him, and then he just hit me again, and I lost control, and there I am. Race is over. I was infuriated, and we're gonna look at the replay here. I mean, I don't know what the heck he was thinking. I was side by side with him, and he just decides to ram me off there. I was livid after that race, so we're hopping into the next one.
Green flag.
And once again, we want to post the best lap time that we can. Again, we did not qualify very high. In fact, we were way in the back of the pack, and my focus was just not there.
Nice and clean.
A couple places. Once again, we're going to have lots of traffic coming into Eau Rouge. And I'm going gonna back up, make sure I get a lot of speed. I'm right on this guy's tail. Unfortunately, he's just braking in really odd places, and I ended up hitting his bumper. And ultimately, I end up losing speed, and I'm dropping back into P16 where I started. So now we got a lot of traffic to battle here. So at this point, I'm just going to be playing it safe. I'm going to take the inside here, cut it back, and get past them. And as you can see, Zohan just spun out like crazy there. 14. We moved up a couple spots. Now we're just going to wait to see if people capitalize. We have another gentleman here making a mistake. Now we're already up into P13. And this race was going to be quite a challenge to post an ideal lap time. And ultimately, I didn't triumph, not to spoil it, but I did not get a better lap time or post a PR. And it was really frustrating because you want to try to make small little incremental improvements, but when it's just not all connecting and you're making little mistakes that you normally wouldn't do, it was infuriating. As you can see, another gentleman goes off to the side here, and now we're up into P12, and we're still maintaining with this pack here of like 6 drivers.
Once people get it, then they become more reckless because they have a margin of error.
Getting in 6th place, without a doubt,
they can bump people here and there, and they don't
is a
really
possibility.
care because they're not going to get automatically demoted to a reckless driver label.
As you can see, I'm ranting here. You know, I think this is a problem in Le Mans Ultimate. A lot of people, when they get the trusted driver badge, I think they're more reckless than the drivers who maybe have the flag of good driver or reckless. And I think the reason being is they know they have a little bit of wiggle room to make errors and bumping people or cutting the track limits, and it's not going to affect their driver rating. But anyways, getting into the second lap here, and we got a little bit more breathing room. We're not too neck and neck with the pack. Speed up. So we're right next to Mira, and this is actually going to be a really good battle, even though I'm not posting the great lap times. But the racing was fun with Mira. I'll give it that. So we're going to back out here, let him take it, and then we're going to try to get ourselves more speed and get behind him in the draft, catch up.
Lost a lot.
But as you can see, Konkin is right on our tail behind us, and he's in the slipstream. He's going to be looking for the inside, but he's not getting the draft. We're still getting a really strong draft. And it looks like he was going to take the inside, but he's not quite wheel to wheel. His front wheel is not in line with my rear wheel, so I'm going to cut him off there. And then we're going to move ahead here. It's because it's more or less us and Mira battling, which it was great battles, but for the sake of time and not making the video too long, because I mean, honestly, if I took all the clips that I filmed, it would be like a 5-hour video. So I had to pick and choose and prioritize. So right now, right behind Mira, and we're getting the side draft here. We got more speed coming out of Eau Rouge, and we're just gonna see how he brakes. So we're gonna brake at our normal point, and rather than going down in the second gear, we're gonna flip all the way down to first. And we kind of ended up losing time. It didn't go as I intended, but nonetheless, we're still get a good exit out of the third corner, nice string of corners in sector 1, and we're still right behind Mira. I mean, this guy was really respectful with his driving. It was a great battle. We were both giving each other a lot of respect. We love racing like that. We just love to see it. As you can see, we didn't come out of that corner. That corner, I really struggled figuring out how to come out of that fast first. It was one of my weaknesses, but I was determined to figure it out. You know, I knew you could figure it out, and the one benefit being in the middle of the pack is maybe I can learn from others, just following them and using them as my reference point. But Mira got away from me coming out of that corner, but we were able to reel it back in with the last few corners, and now we are right on his tail. And coming into the back straight here in sector 3, we were going to be able to catch right up with him and hopefully make things difficult for him into the final corner going into lap 4. As you can see, we're gaining a lot of speed getting into a slipstream. We had a much better corner. He actually gets track limits, but he's going to probably accept the points, and that'll be fine. I brake a little bit later. He brakes a little earlier than I would have expected, but I go wide, trying to just make him a little bit nervous. And he goes just a little too wide outside of those corners, out of the chicane. And we are side by side. Now at this point, he's stuck on the inside, and I'm on the outside, so I'm going to take a wider line. Even though he's going to be ahead of me, I'm hoping I can get more speed. But as you can see, I had to kind of wrangle the wheel a little bit to get traction, and I didn't do my due diligence with the throttle. But we were able to come out slightly faster than him, so now it's just a game of who's going to give up. And ultimately, Miura concedes a position through Eau Rouge, so now we bumped up to P11. That was a great battle and great driving there for 4 laps. Well, I should say more like just over 3 laps with Miura. But it's not over. The battle in this race is not over at all. So we're moving forward. We're halfway through lap 5. Eventually we'll be going to lap 6. Trying to chase down Porto. And once we had that battle with Miura, you know, that was pretty much over with him. And Porto was about 2.5 seconds ahead, and we were able to catch up to him. So now at this point, I'm just focused on getting a top 10 position. And we're right there. So we should be in the slipstream in Sector 3 straightaway, right behind Porto, and hoping to be able to catch up to him. Now, people in P12, Zuan and Tudson, we're about 3 seconds behind us, 4 seconds behind us. So we had some breathing room for a little bit, and we could just focus on passing Porto. Oh, but as you can see, that was my bad. I think I misjudged my braking reference, but to be fair, I think Porto moved a little bit under braking, where he just all of a sudden went out wide. And you're really not supposed to do that in racing, but I'm definitely a little bit to blame on that, without a doubt. I missed my braking point. That was my bad, and unfortunately, we have front bumper damage now, so we're going to have to adapt to that, and it's going to be much harder to post a better lap time. As you can see, our best lap time at this time is a 2:21.8. That is way far off from our best. We move ahead here into lap 7. As you can see, Zuan and Tudson, they're right on our tail. Zuan makes an aggressive move, and he's playing a little dirty, just bumping me. And I didn't really like that, but at the same time, I wasn't going to let him get in my head. So he gets slightly ahead of us. We're side by side, getting the side draft. We have the inside. He's more than likely going to get more speed here. So just kind of push him to the outside, pressure him a little bit. Good driving. But ultimately, he holds his composure. He's got the speed. And he's going to get ahead of us now. So we're just going to back out, get in the slipstream behind him, and hopefully we get through Eau Rouge here nice and cleanly, which we do. We do get a little bit of the track limits, but it's fine. No worries. We'll take it. It's not like we're close to getting a stop-and-go penalty or a drive-through penalty. So we're in the slipstream here in Zuan, but we have Tudson, who's right on our tail on the side, and he got more speed plus the slipstream, but ultimately he didn't quite get side-by-side with us, so he wasn't able to get in a position to battle through these S's. Come on. Zuan is catching up to Porto now. We're kind of losing him.
Boy,
I completely messed up my braking point. So now Tudson is ahead of us, but we're side by side still. So I flip it down, and I'm on the inside trying to pressure him.
Gain more speed.
But he, again, maintains his composure, uses all the track, and he gets
half a second.
Good racing on this part there. I mean, I completely fumbled that opportunity. I wouldn't even say an opportunity, I just fumbled defending, period. So, hats off to you, sir, for beating me. So now at this point, I really just don't have the pace. I was having a rough day racing. I wasn't on my A game. But I still wanted to at least try to finish top 10 just for the sake of racing and not caring about getting a better lap time. So the strategy at this point is these guys are going to be battling it out, especially going into the last lap. or last 2 laps here. No, this will be the last lap. My apologies. And if they make a mistake or they're battling each other too hard, that's going to allow me to pass them. So as you can see going in the final corner, they're already battling and they're side by side. Zuon is dirty, man. He's dirty. As you can see, he just cuts off Porter and is hitting him through there. Dirty. And as you're going to find out, Porto does not appreciate that at all. So he just goes in here and he just decides to push Zuon off, which, you know, honestly, I think he deserved that. He was even
he
a
does
little
deserve
dirty to
that.
me.
But now we're in P10, baby.
Porto just gave him back. But luckily, because
excellent lap here. Excellent lap.
Too in their head and taking things personally, he moved up to them in P10. So at this point, all we had to do was focus on finishing this race. But we were going to have a lot of pressure because we knew we didn't.
Oh boy, it's getting frisky back there, guys.
These people were much better at the track at this point than I was.
Be careful.
So it was just a matter of good defense and trying to get the best paces we possibly could. So now we're on the back straight into Sector 3. They are right on our tail. Tutson is right on our tail. And we're going to have to defend really hard into this final corner. So can we make it happen?
Gotta defend.
So we're going to take the inside brake. I completely miss my marker. I brake inappropriately. So I decide, screw it. I'm cutting the corner. I don't care how bad the track limits are. But I ultimately didn't get enough speed. And I fumbled a top 10 position, and I got into P12. And that was
green
just a
flag,
bad race.
green flag.
So moving on to the next race. Now, I qualified P4, but I was getting into higher and higher splits. And I mean, I gotta say, this split was incredible. So in qualifying, even though I got P4, I got a lap time of low 220s. Like, I think 220.3 is what I got. So I was feeling more and more confident that I could get a in-race lap time in the 220s. And between this race and the previous race that you guys just saw in this video, there was a lot of races that happened in between. So we're going here after this big straight in the Eau Rouge. DJ, he was almost kind of trying to push us off to the track, and I was not cool with it. And I almost completely lost it there. I hit the curve way too hard. But I was able to wrangle it back and maintain control. But we're going to have to drop down back into P4 where we started. You know, not too terrible, not too bad, but we're just going to concede the position so we can get more speed coming out of this corner. And we're going to be right behind Bishop. Now, once again, ultimately, the goal here is to post the fastest lap time that we possibly can. gotta get in front of Bishop. He's gonna slow me down. Coming here and we're finishing lap. Yes! Broke the record. And as you can see, we broke our record. We had gained basically 0.4 of a second compared to our record, which was great. So now we're in the 220s. We have made improvements. And now we're looking to see what else we can do. Now we're jumping ahead to the end of this race. You know, it was relatively uneventful, not too much side-by-side action. We did not get a better lap time than the second lap, but it was a good race. We finished in P5, and now we move on to this race.
Green flag,
so,
green flag.
We finished in P2, qualified in P2. So once again, we're going to build upon what we've done in the past and see if we can get it. So I was really getting consistent. In my qualifying, I was posting low 220s. At one point, I posted a 220.1. So I knew it was possible to get a 220 and a half in race. And heck, maybe I could get a 219 if I'm lucky. I drive well. But nonetheless, we're going to see, can we make more of an improvement? Now, it's quite clear that Sumner and I at this point are already over a second ahead of everyone else behind us, so we're going to be in a league of our own in this race. And we're just going to focus driving our drive, racing our race, I should say, driving our drive. It just sounds weird. Or maybe I'm in my head. I don't really know. But anyways, we're just going to focus on racing and see what we can do. So we move ahead here, and we're coming to the end of lap 2. And we're not going to break our record, but we are right there. We are right at 221, just like a 10th off from our record. So we're just going to focus on this next lap and see what type of a time we can post. Now at this point in time, Sumner is slowly pulling away from us. And not that we can't catch him, I mean, it's a long race, but I didn't want to dwell too much on getting in P1 pole position. All I wanted to do was post the best lap time that I could at this point. So we're coming into the final corner here, and our delta's looking good. We're looking really solid. So can we just hold it and make a good line here? And we're still maintaining a positive
There we
delta,
go.
almost 4
Let's
tenths. And we are ultimately going to break our record.
Let's go.
220.67. We are getting there, baby. We are improving. We are improving our racecraft, improving our knowledge of this car, improving our times. So, again, this is a relatively uneventful race, and that was the best lap time that we were going to post. But ultimately, we're just going to settle in, make sure we maintain that gap between P3, and hopefully Sumner makes a mistake. But ultimately, that's just probably not going to happen at this point. He was a pretty rock-solid driver. He wasn't making any errors at this point. Just really good drivers in this lobby overall. Coming down the back straight into sector 3 now. So after God knows how many races, I mean, I had probably done this race like 30 times or something, maybe more. It was a lot of times or a lot of attempts, given that I work a full-time job and I only have a limited amount of hours in the day. But we had made an improvement. So we pretty much, at this point, hit our goal about 220 and a half. We were just a little bit over, but we're pretty much right there at our goal. And as you can see, after this race, I decided to do some victory donuts and burn the tires. And as you can see, I have absolutely no emotion on my face, and I am so excited about breaking my own record that I showed no levels of excitement whatsoever.
I've always admired those who just do it, and they conquered their fears. They fall back down and they keep getting up, and they try to steer clear.
Well, guys, there you have it. Now, this was extremely unfortunate, but because I was filming so many videos in every single race that I did, just trying to capture as much content as I could, the very last race, I ended up posting a lap time of 220.4. But right at the end, it was like the last one, I think I had 1.5 laps left in the race. I had used up all my storage on my SSD, ran out of space, and I didn't get the video, unfortunately. But we improved upon that, and we exceeded our expectations. We got a 220.4, and while it was not anywhere close to like the top 100 fastest lap times, but we got it pretty close to getting under like the top 1,000, and you know, I'm pretty happy with that, considering I've only been sim racing for, you know, roughly 6 months with the wheel and pedals. I can't complain. You know, it's good improvement, and it's just fun to compete. It always is. But if you guys were participating in this challenge, let me know down in the comments if you were and what your lap time was, and let me know what your thoughts are. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and there will be future content coming up, so subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day. Take care, and we'll see you next time.